It's 2025. Humanity is busy trying to upload its brain into the cloud while forgetting the password to its email account. Somewhere, between an overstimulated physicist and a caffeine-addicted philosopher, someone asks the question that breaks the universe a little bit. What if you never die? Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "Oh great, another immortality theory," hold on. This isn't about vampire bloodlines or cryogenic freezers. It's about quantum mechanics, that lovely branch of physics that says particles can be in two places at once, cats can be both alive and dead, and reality itself might be one giant cosmic lottery. And somewhere in that quantum chaos lies a disturbing idea called quantum immortality, the possibility that you might live forever, not metaphorically, literally, eternally, whether you like it or not. Let's start with a thought experiment, the kind that usually ends with everyone deeply uncomfortable and a few people rethinking their career choices. Picture yourself in a sealed room. On a table in front of you sits a device. Let's call it the quantum roulette. Every time you press a button, there's a 50% chance it fires a fatal laser beam and a 50% chance nothing happens. Now, to everyone watching from outside, this is just Russian roulette for masochists. But from your point of view, something impossible happens. Every time you push that button, there's a world where you die and another where you don't. And because you can only experience the worlds in which you survive, your consciousness keeps existing again and again and again. From your subjective point of view, you never die. You keep waking up, pressing the button, defying the odds. Forever. Congratulations. You've just discovered a form of immortality that makes eternal damnation sound merciful. This strange idea comes from the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics, first proposed by physicist Hugh Everett in the 1950s. He suggested that every quantum event, every time a particle could go one way or another, actually splits the universe into two. One reality for each outcome. In one universe, you drink coffee. In another, you spill it on your laptop and ruin your thesis. In one, you step off the curb and get hit by a bus. In another, you just barely miss it and think, "Wow, lucky me." According to quantum immortality, you always experience the version where you survive. It's like being stuck in a video game with infinite continues, except you can never quit, and the lag is cosmic. Now, this isn't just some internet stoner theory. Real physicists have debated it. And while most of them don't believe it's literally true, they can't entirely disprove it either, because the universe doesn't send out death certificates for alternate timelines. If there's even a 1 in a billion chance that your consciousness continues in a branch where you survive, well, you're still there, blinking, breathing, eternally confused. Think about that the next time you almost choke on a piece of sushi and then laugh it off. Somewhere, another you didn't make it. You're the version that did. Of course, there's a catch. If you can never die, you also can never rest. Every time your body is supposed to fail, there's always a microscopic, absurdly improbable branch where something saves you. A last-second miracle. A 1 in trillion genetic mutation. A random fluctuation of quantum fields keeping your neurons firing. In one universe, the doctor pronounces you dead. In another, your heart sputters back to life like an old engine. And from your perspective, it's always the second one. The show never ends. Not even when the credits roll. At first glance, this sounds like a cosmic gift. Who wouldn't want to live forever? But immortality has terrible customer reviews. Imagine being the last conscious being in a universe that's slowly freezing into darkness. Stars go out, galaxies drift apart, black holes evaporate, and you somehow remain. You can't die, you can't sleep, you just exist, endlessly, like an old computer that refuses to shut down. Congratulations again. You are now the eternal witness of entropy, forever scrolling the cosmic TikTok feed with no Wi-Fi and no battery to run out. Even before the heat death of the universe, there's the psychological horror. If you truly live forever, what does another day even mean? Every sunrise becomes meaningless when you've seen a trillion of them. Every experience repeats. You learn everything, build everything, lose everything, and it all resets because somewhere else, another version of you is still doing it differently. You could spend millennia mastering every art, every science, every language, until the very concept of novelty disintegrates. Imagine an eternity where nothing surprises you because you've seen it all. That's not heaven. That's existential ennui with extra dimensions. Philosophers have a word for this: the weariness of being. The idea that endless existence eventually erodes all meaning. Mortality, ironically, is what gives life its flavor, the pressure that makes every decision matter. Without the possibility of an end, there's no urgency, no beauty, no now. You become a spectator of an infinite movie that never fades to black. You can't even leave the theater. The popcorn's cold, the credits never roll, and the guy behind you won't stop coughing in another dimension. But let's not get too gloomy. Humanity's obsession with immortality is ancient. We've always wanted to cheat death, from alchemists chasing the Philosopher's Stone to Silicon Valley billionaires injecting themselves with teenage blood plasma. The dream of eternal life is built into our mythology. The Greeks warned about Tithonus, granted immortality but not eternal youth, forced to live forever, aging endlessly until he shriveled into a cricket. The medieval mystics prayed for the everlasting soul, hoping paradise would be better maintained than Earth. And now, physics enters the chat and says, actually, you might already be immortal. Oops. Pop culture loves the idea too. Every movie about time loops, multiverses, or characters who just won't die taps into that same eerie fascination. Edge of Tomorrow, Dark, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Rick and Morty, you name it. Each asks the same question. If you could live forever, would you still want to? Or would eternity eventually crush you under the weight of your own continuity? We romanticize immortality, but deep down we know it's a curse with better branding. Now imagine the social consequences if people started believing quantum immortality was real. Some would go full YOLO, skydiving without parachutes, eating questionable sushi, arguing with Texans on Reddit, because hey, you can't die, right? Others would spiral into paranoia, convinced that every near-death experience is proof they're the immortal branch. Governments might panic, religions would rewrite doctrines, insurance companies would go out of business. Imagine trying to sell life insurance to someone who literally can't die. We'll pay out in one of the universes where you didn't make it. Great business model. 10 out of 10. But here's the twisted thing. Quantum immortality doesn't actually mean you're invincible in the way comic books suggest. You can still suffer. You can still age. You can still experience pain, possibly for eons. Because the theory only protects consciousness, not comfort. So while you keep existing, your body could decay. Your mind could fracture. Your surroundings could collapse. Somewhere out there, there's a version of you who's 30,000 years old, half machine, half regret, whispering to itself, I should have backed up my memories. And what about the science? Does any of this actually hold up under the weight of equations instead of YouTube thumbnails? Kind of, but not really. The many worlds interpretation does suggest that every possible outcome exists simultaneously in separate universes. What it doesn't guarantee is that you, the conscious observer, experience all of them. That part is philosophical. Consciousness isn't something physics has defined. No one knows how awareness chooses a branch, or if it even does. The idea that your mind could jump from one surviving version to another is poetic, but untested. So yes, quantum immortality sits somewhere between theoretical physics and cosmic fan fiction. Comforting? No. Fascinating? Absolutely. Still, thought experiments like this are useful. They force us to confront uncomfortable questions. If life were infinite, what would you do with it? Would you still fall in love, knowing it might last forever? Would you take risks if you knew you'd always survive somewhere? Or would you retreat, paralyzed by the idea that no choice ever really ends? In a sense, mortality gives us courage. The courage to act despite knowing we'll vanish. Take that away, and maybe all that's left is apathy on an infinite timeline. And here's a fun irony. Even if you're quantum immortal, you'll never be able to prove it. From your point of view, you'll just keep surviving. But you can't check the other universes to confirm that you died in them. You're too busy being alive. The evidence, by definition, always disappears with the observer. So the only proof you'll ever have is the fact that you haven't died yet. Which, honestly, applies to everyone listening right now. Congratulations, you're all Schrödinger's survivors. Let's think deeper. Suppose the theory is true. Billions of years from now, your consciousness continues hopping realities, refusing to vanish. Civilizations collapse, stars burn out, space stretches thinner and colder, but your awareness persists. Maybe as pure information, maybe as quantum noise, maybe as a lonely thought drifting through entropy. Eventually there's no matter left, no energy, no light, just you. A flicker of I am. Would you even recognize yourself? Would you still feel human, or just existence for existence's sake? Immortality, stripped of context, becomes indistinguishable from oblivion. The frightening part isn't the physics, it's the perspective. Quantum immortality challenges everything we think we know about identity and death. It blurs the line between survival and delusion. Maybe the self that continues isn't really you, but a copy so perfect it believes it is. In that case, what exactly is dying? The atoms? The memory? The continuity of experience? If infinite versions of you exist, does your survival even matter? Or is you just a convenient illusion passing through infinite mirrors? And yet the idea is seductive. We love stories that say death isn't the end, even when they terrify us. It's comforting to imagine some version of ourselves living on, exploring, witnessing, learning forever. It's equally horrifying to imagine being trapped in that loop. Eternity isn't golden light and harps. It's a blinking cursor that never stops, the ultimate existential loading screen. So where does this leave us, besides mildly traumatized and questioning reality? Maybe the point isn't whether quantum immortality is true. Maybe it's the reminder that death, the very thing we fear, is what makes life precious. Knowing the curtain will fall pushes us to act, to love, to create meaning in the brief moment we have. Without it, we'd drift endlessly, doing everything and nothing at once. And maybe, just maybe, that's why the universe built the rules this way. Because perfection isn't eternal existence. It's the fleetingness that gives value to experience. If every heartbeat echoed forever, would it still feel like life? Probably not. It would feel like noise. So the next time you narrowly avoid an accident, when your heart races and you think, that was close, take a breath. Somewhere in the endless web of universes, another you didn't make it. But this version did. You're the lucky one, the survivor of countless unseen realities. Maybe not immortal, but undeniably alive. And maybe that's enough. Because if quantum immortality teaches us anything, it's this. Life might be a series of impossible chances, but awareness, this fragile, flickering awareness, is the miracle that keeps defying them. You don't need infinity to matter. You just need now. So sleep well tonight, or try to. Because in some universe, you already didn't.